Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. Today we are going to see about MySQL revision 2, that is part 2. We are going to see the following topics, that is SQL constraints, inserting data into another table, then modifying data in tables, deleting data from tables, and then altering tables, dropping tables. As you all know already that we have DML and DDL commands. So under DML, this insert, modify, delete. So everything is working on data. So insert, modify, delete commands will come under DML, data manipulation language commands. And then alter, drop will come under DDL, that is data definition language commands. So under these DML and DDL, we are going to see the examples and also the syntax which are related to this commands. Okay. So first we'll move on to first topic, that is SQL constraints. So once we have created table, that is while creating table itself, we can give these constraints. What is meant by constraint? Constraint is a condition or a check, okay, applicable on a field or a set of fields. You know what is meant by field? Field means any attribute or column name which is there in the table. Okay, so database means it consists of collection of tables. In a table we will have rows and columns. That column name only is otherwise called as field name or attribute name. Okay, so it is represented in a vertical format in a table. Common types of constraints, that is conditions that are applied on a table columns, that only these constraints are going to be applied on a column names only. Okay, that is field name only, or set of fields we can give, set of columns also. For group of columns also we can imply some conditions or constraints. Okay, so that are applied on the table columns includes the following. So what are the constraints we have? Common types of constraints. There are around 6 constraints given in the MySQL. That is, first one is not null constraint. It ensures that column cannot have a null value. So individual any column if you take, it should not have. So whichever column you are giving assigning as not null while creating the table, it cannot have a null value. That is, it will not allow any null value. Once you defined that column as not null means it will not allow any null value. And then default constraint. So it provides a default value for a column when none is specified. That is, when you are not specifying any value for that corresponding column while you are inserting data to the table or value to the table, that time for that column, if you have already mentioned in the create table command, like create table command, for that column if you have already mentioned some values, that values will be taken defaultly even if you are not passing any value during insertion time. So that is the use of this default constraint. Next is unique constraint. It ensures that all the values in a column are different. Unique, you know the meaning of unique. Unique means different. Okay, so it ensures that all the values in the column, so every value in the column must be unique. And next constraint is check constraint. It makes sure that all the values in the column satisfy certain criteria, certain condition it should satisfy. So some of the conditions we will give, like student mark no should be greater than 90 or 80, like that some conditions we will give. So if any inserting data, if it is having more than 80 only or more than 50 only, will be inserted inside the table. So like that we will give some conditions also along with the column name. Okay, so that's the use of this check. It will check whether that column satisfies that criteria or not, that condition or not. Next is primary key. It is used to uniquely identify, that is individually we can identify a row in a table. So every row in a table will be identified uniquely, differently. And then foreign key, next attribute is next constraint is foreign key constraint. So it is used to ensure referential integrity of the data. So if more than one tables are related with each other, in that case we will go for this foreign key constraint. We will see some of the examples for better understanding. So first one is SQL not null constraint. So first constraint what we are going to see, the examples and all is not null constraint for not null constraint. So by default, what is the value of every column? Every column will hold the null value. By default, a column can hold a null value even if you are not passing any value also. Even if you are not mentioning any constraints for the column names, it will automatically take the null value as a default value. So this thing you need to understand properly. By default, a column can hold a null value. Not null constraints ensure that column cannot have a null value. So it is opposite to that. Not null constraint means it will not allow the particular column, which column you are assigning as not null, no, that column should compulsorily have the any value. Okay, so you need to pass some value to that column name. So that is the use of this not null constraint. So for example, create table customer. This is the command which is used for creating a table. So create table command, and after that the table name we need to give, and opening parenthesis. So you should not give some other operators, some other operators and all here. So parenthesis operator only you need to use. Then SID, student ID, then it is belongs to which data type. This is column name or attribute name or field name we will say. So for the field we are setting the not null constraint. So SID, then data type after only with the single gap. So everywhere, no, that is after column name you should give single character gap, and then integer after. That is the data type which is available in the SQL. This already we discussed in the previous session. SID, then space integer space, then not space null. Okay, not space null. We should not give jointly, that not null should not be written. So you should give some single character gap between not and null, then after that comma. Okay, then first name space varchar first underscore name. You know what is the how we need to write the variable names or any field name or attribute name. So like for variables, what are the rules we have studied? No, the same rules we need to apply for any kind of variable wherever we are using, even in database or any programming languages. Whatever rules we have studied for writing an identifier or variable, that is applicable for field name, attribute name of tables also. So first underscore name, then space, single character space, then varchar, that is variable character of 30, then space not, space null. So here two field, that is SID and first name, we are going to assign as not null. That means compulsorily we need to pass some value for the SID and first name. If you are omitting SID and first name when you are inserting value, if you are omitting the values for these two columns, so automatically error will occur. So we will see when we are inserting values, what will be the output of this not null constraint. We will check in the next slide. So last underscore name, this is another column, then varchar of 30. So it will occupy 30 characters maximum. See here, columns SID and first name cannot include null value, while last name can include null value. This we have understood by seeing this create table command. An attempt to execute the following SQL statement, that is if you are trying to execute this statement, insert into, now we are going to insert some values into the table using insert command. So insert into customer, customer means table name, and then within parenthesis we are sending the field names, that is attribute names or column names of the table. So customer table names and all, last name, first name, SID. Here SID is missed, but SID, if we are not passing value for SID, okay, it is assigned for, the first value is assigned for last name and second value is assigned for first name. Because we mentioned the attributes names clearly in a order. So but first SID is missing here. So SID defaultly it will have which value? Already we have studied by default common, any column will can hold a null value. But here according to our create table statement, SID is assigned as set as not null constraint. Okay, so that means it will not take any null value. Okay, so that it will result in an error, because this will lead to column SID being a null, and which violates the not null constraint on that column, because here already we have assigned this SID as not null. So it is violating that not null constraint on that column, so that it will generate the error. MySQL will generate the error. Next is default constraint. So it provides a default value for a column when the insert into statement does not provide a specific value. So when we are using this insert into statement, if you are not providing any specific value for that particular column name or field name, already if it is assigned with some default value like this, it will assign that value. Okay, instead of null value, it will take this 80, that is here score is assigned as 80, default value assigned as 80. So that 80 will be taken even if we are ignoring this score in insert into statement. Okay, so now we have seen the create table student example, that is student ID, this is column name, integer, it's assigned as unique constraint also, so it should have unique value, and then last name varchar of 30, first name varchar of 30, then score default 80. So default constraint here we can set like this for any column is assigned as 80, and then close the parenthesis at the end, semicolon. So here every column names are separated by commas, okay, comma. And if you are executing the following statement, that is insert into student ID, last name, first name, here score is missed. That is fourth field is missed here, but it is assigned here as default value 80. So when we are passing the values 10, quercy, and then zsan, okay, student ID is assigned with this value, and then last name is assigned with this value, then first name is assigned with this text value, okay. So no value has been provided for the score field because score we didn't pass here, and as value is also not assigned here. So that what will happen after this SQL query, the table will look like the following, because default we have assigned as 80 for that score field. So the table will be like this with all the fields, okay. Now unique constraint we will see. So same examples we will take here. Unique constraint is assigned for SID. So it ensures that all the values in a column are unique. For example, are different, okay. For example, if you are having the table like this, okay, 1, 2, 3, and the last name, first name, everything are different only here, and score is same, but SID is different here, because here we are going to discuss about the unique constraint, how it is working on this particular column SID only, okay. So here column SID has a unique constraint, and hence cannot include the duplicate values. That means repeated value we should not give, like 1, no, it should not repeat again, 2 it should not repeat again, 3 should not repeat again anywhere in the table. So duplicate values, that is repeated values, okay, should not be repeated in the unique constraint for that particular column SID, okay. So if the table already contains the following rows, now we are trying to insert, okay, into customer values 3. So next row we are going to include like this, okay. But already the value which is there in the table for SID, 3 is already there, so it will result in an error because the value 3 already exists in the SID column. Because of that unique constraint, it is denoted or replied by MySQL as a what? Result an error, okay. So thus trying to insert another row with that value violates the unique constraint. With the same value, if you are inserting another row, it will violate the unique constraint, so automatically it is generating error here. Next is check constraint. Check constraint, already we know that is check means condition checking, okay. So some condition we will pass for certain columns, according to that condition only, if the condition satisfied only, the corresponding row will be entered or the row can be altered, okay. Any data if you want to alter, no, based on the condition, if the condition is accepted or correct one, then it will allow to, MySQL will allow to replace the new value or add a new value to the table, okay. So SQL check constraint ensures that all the values in a column satisfy certain condition or criteria. Once we have defined that condition, the database will only insert a new row or update an existing row if the new value satisfies that check constraint. So already we discussed that if new value, if it is satisfying the check constraint only, that row can be inserted, or we can do any update on the existing row. That is, database will do all these works only when the new value satisfies the check constraint, okay. The check constraint is used to ensure the data quality, and here we will see one example related to this check constraint. Here we are checking check SID is greater than 0. See, for this SID we are checking whether it is greater than 0, because it should not be lesser than 0 or 0, that is -1, -2 and all should not be entered for student ID, okay. So that's why we are here we are giving using check constraint, check that word after opening parenthesis, inside that the column name, which column name and with which value we need to compare, that we need to give it inside the parenthesis as a condition using less than, greater than operators. Always conditions means it will be using which operators? Relational operators only. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to. These operators are only going to be used for conditions, okay. So check within parenthesis SID greater than 0, and then giving comma, then remaining attributes you are giving as it is, okay. So here check constraint is used for this field alone, SID field alone. So if this condition is satisfied only, whatever value you are inserting, that value will be checked, that is SID value will be checked here. If it is correct only, the row corresponding row will be accepted by the table or by the database. Next is a primary key is used to uniquely identify a row in a table. So already we know what is primary key. It is used to uniquely identify a row in a table. It can consist of one or more fields on a table. Primary key not only can be a single field in the table, it can be a more than one field also in a table, because that field must satisfy this condition, that is uniquely the value should be unique for that primary key field. Okay, so when multiple fields are used as a primary key, then they are called what key? Composite key. So when more than one primary key fields, multiple fields are going to be used as a primary key. So if you are going to assign more than one field as a primary key, then that field is called, then all those fields are together known as composite key. Primary keys can be specified either when the table is created. So we can specify the primary key when we are creating table, or when we are changing the existing table structure using alter table command. So create table, alter table, in these two commands we can make use of this. We can insert the or specify the primary key for the field. Okay, so defining primary key through create table command. So we will see create table, using create table command, how we can assign the primary key. So there are two methods we can assign the primary key. One is in the same column definition itself we can assign the primary key, or at the end, so after specifying not null or SID integer, here after declaring the type of that column and then giving comma, then finally we can do primary key, that is primary space key after parenthesis, that is inside parenthesis SID we can give. So in this method also we can specify the primary key for any field which is going to identify the value uniquely, which is having the value unique. Okay, then here also in this manner also we can assign. So this is the way we can define the primary key through create table command. Next is composite primary key. Composite means what? More than one field can be used for a primary key field. So here branch and SID is going to be used as a primary key field. Okay, so more than two fields here are taken for a primary key field. So this is known as, that is combination of fields branch and SID is the composite primary key of the table. So this is an example for composite primary key. Next is primary key constraint, that is through alter table command. So how we can assign specify the primary key using alter table. So we need to give add. Okay, alter table, which table we want to alter, the table name, add primary key of SID. So we if we forgot to give the field for SID as primary key, means like using this alter table command, afterwards we can give this command like this while inserting create table command, while we are creating the table, if we forgot to give the primary key field or assign the primary key field for one particular field, so we can assign later on by using this alter table command. So for that purpose only this alter table command is going to be used for defining the primary key. So alter table, customer, which table we want to alter, that table name. In that table name only we have this field SID, so that we are assigning that SID as a primary key by using this add keyword. Okay, so alter add command. So alter table customer add primary space key of SID at the end parenthesis semicolon. So like that we need to give. Next is foreign key constraint. In create table command you can add foreign keys definition through the following syntax. That is in the second table, that is base table, and one more table we will have like a child table we will have. So in a parent table we will have one field, so that field we need to refer. Okay, from the sub table we need to refer from the base table. So the base table column we are going to taken here. So foreign key column to be designated as foreign key, that is in a second table. Okay, so foreign key we need to assign for the second table. So foreign key and the column to be as designated as the foreign key, and then references, these are the keywords. So you should use compulsorily these two words. Then here the column name we need to give, which column name in the sub table, we are going to assign as a foreign key, that column name we need to give here in this in the parenthesis inside place. Okay, then master table name we need to give here, and then primary key of the master table. So master table, which field we have taken as primary key, so that field, values and are going to be referred by the field which is going to be assigned as the foreign key in the sub table. Okay, so we will see example. Create table orders, order ID integer, order date. These are the column names. Okay, integer date and all, that is the data type. Then customer underscore SID integer, this is data type, and then amount double, floating point value. So amount can be a floating point value only. Then primary key, we are setting this order ID as a primary key field. Then foreign key also we are assigning, that is foreign key customer ID, customer underscore SID references customer of SID, that is here in this order table, this is a subtable. Actually this is a subtable. In this subtable, this table actually linking the base table customer, okay, referring the base table customer. So customer table, order table, both are linked here with the help of which field? Customer SID field. So here we are changing, we are giving different name in the order table, that is customer underscore SID. In that name, that primary key field which is used in the customer table, no, that is going to be changed here as customer underscore SID. So that field is referring, okay. So we are using foreign key constraint in order to make that customer SID which is used in the subtable order, that is going to refer base table customer. In that SID, that is like a customer underscore SID field is there, no, that SID field is going to be referred from the customer table by this order table customer underscore SID. Okay, so like this we need to write the format when we are assigning some field as a foreign key in the subtable. So this is the subtable orders is the subtable here. So this subtable customer SID is going to refer the base table customer SID field. So whatever values we are having here in this base table, that is going to be used in the customer underscore SID also. Okay. So the above code will designate customer SID field of orders table as a foreign key, referencing SID field of customer table. So now defining foreign key through alter table command. So till now we have seen using create table command. Using alter table, just use similar like alter table add. You have seen here, no, alter table add. Okay, alter table, table name add we have given, no, same like here, alter table orders add, and then foreign key. Then which field from the orders table, no, is going to be referring the base table, that field name we need to give. So it is similar like creating table foreign key assignment like that only, but only thing is alter table, the table name we need to give. So which subtable we are referring, we are taking that customer SID field, no, the foreign key field, that we need to mention here, the table name we need to mention here. So alter table orders, then add foreign key customer ID references, within parentheses you need to give that field which you are assigning as a foreign key here. See here we have assigned inside the parentheses only, same like here also inside the parentheses, after the foreign key inside parentheses you need to assign this foreign key field. References you need to write, okay, you should not write reference or refer and all, okay, references, and then customer, the table name, base table name, in that which field you are referring, no, for this ID, no. So SID we are writing here, and then close the parenthesis, and then at the end semicolon. So like this we can assign or specify the foreign key constraint using alter table command. Okay. Next is one important thing you need to remember here while you are using this foreign key constraint, because engine, no, for a database, when we are creating databases in many different storage engines that offer different features. Okay, so it is capable of creating databases in many different storage engines. So databases are going to be created in a different storage engine. By default, the storage engine will be ISAM, that is the index sequential access method engine only is going to be used, but it does not support foreign keys. So if you find that your foreign key constraint are being ignored or not implemented when you are linking two different tables or referring to two tables of same database, no, so in that case, if it is ignored or not implemented, means you need to change the storage engine of your database tables to InnoDB. So instead of ISAM storage engine, we need to change it as what? InnoDB storage engine. Actually MySQL 5.5 version above softwares and all will defaultly have this InnoDB as a storage engine. Okay, so that lower versions only have this default engine, storage engine, as ISAM. Okay, so to do so, that is if you want to change this ISAM to InnoDB, if you are using lower version, that is MySQL 5.5 version, that is 5 version below and all, then you need to go and use this command, that is alter space table, table name. So table name we have given here engine, then engine is equal to InnoDB, you need to assign at the end semicolon. Once if it is done, you can create and implement the foreign keys for your table. So you need to write this command before you go and create and implement the foreign keys in your table. Then applying table constraints. So till now we have studied around 6 constraints. Okay, so how we are going to use these constraints in the table that we are going to see here. That is only applying table constraints. When a constraint is to be applied on a group of columns of the table, that is called table constraints. If the one particular condition, no, it is going to be applied on group of columns means of the table, then it is called a table constraint. So same procedure only, but we are defining in a different way. Okay, so group of columns of having one constraint of that table, it is called table constraint. The table constraints appear in the end of the table definition. We will see example for that. So if you want the combination of I code and DESCP of the table to be unique, so it should be changed as unique. Okay, that is I code and DESCP, you know, that two column names or field names should have a unique value in that table. So like that we need to take these two combinations and we need to assign as unique constraint. So that is going to be considered here as table constraint. We will see example for that. So I code and DSCP, that is defined in character data type, declared in character data type, and not null also assigned here. Finally at the end of this table, that is before closing the table, before closing this, we need to use this unique constraint for, we need to apply unique constraint on two field names, that is I code and ESP, as we said earlier like this. Okay, so we are going to change like this. That is only going to be called as table constraint. So here these are called table constraint, that is I code and DESCP is going to be assigned as unique constraint. So more than two columns, a group of columns of the table is going to be using this constraint, then it is called a table constraint. Next is how to insert the data into another table. As we know that how to insert the data into same table, so how to insert the data into another table we are going to see. That is we are going to fetch or take the values from the another table to our current table, currently working table. Okay, so with the help of this following query we can apply this inserting data into another table. That is, for doing this we need to replace the values class, that is values class we will use no insert into table name. Values we will use no, that instead of that values class we need to use the appropriate query as shown below, that is select query we need to use. Okay, so insert into, because we need to retrieve the value from the another table and that should be passed to the new table. Okay, that is currently working table. So insert into branch 1. Okay, so branch 1 is the table which we are working at present. Select start from branch 2. That means branch 2 is already created table. From that table we are going to refer some values. That values and all will be that values which are assigned for that columns, no, that column names and branch 1 column names should be similar, then only we can extract. Okay, so select start from branch 2 where gross is greater than 7000.00 at the end semicolon. So here condition, based on the condition, that is from branch 2 table whose gross salary and all is greater than 7000, those field only going to be extracted, those rows only going to be extracted, and it is going to be inserted into which table? Branch table. So like that this query is written. Okay, so in this manner, this is the example for how to insert the data into another table. So it will extract all the rows from the branch 2 that have gross more than 7000 and insert this produced result into table branch 1. But for the above command to work, so if the above command want to be work properly means how it can work. So table namely branch 1 must be an existing table of the database. So the same database, the branch 1 must exist and branch 2 also should be available, then only this can be possible. Next is how to modify data in a tables. So you can modify data in a tables using update command of SQL. So update command specifies the rows to be changed using the var class. So here we are going to use two things, that is var class and another thing is set keyword. Okay, so values are going to be assigned by set keyword and var class are used to identify the particular row by giving the condition. So var means condition only. So using var class we will give the condition from which on which row we need to update that value. So that value will be given by using which keyword? Set keyword. So we will see some example for related to this modifying data or update command. The new data can be specified as constant. So whatever value we are assigning in set keyword, that can be mentioned as constant also, or it can be expression or data from other tables. So for example, to update the role ROL or QOH for items having I code less than I040, we shall write the following code, that is update items. Item table we are going to update by using which condition? I code should be less than I040, and we need to set the value as roll as 400 comma QOH as 700. So condition is I code should be less than I040, so that should be assigned within single quotes because this is mentioned as the character data type, text data type, so it should be given within single quotes. If it's a number data type, no need to give semicolon, that is quotes and all, single quotes and all. Okay, so to double the cross pay of the, another example we will see for this modifying table, modifying data in a table, update employee table. Okay, so we need to update employee table. What updation we need to make here is we need to change the gross pay as a double. Okay, so gross is equal to gross star 2. Already gross is assigned with some value, that should be multiplied with 2 in order to get the new gross value. So then so using set keyword we are doing this. Okay, this is called expression. This way constant value is assigned here. This is the expression we are assigning here. Okay, then where grade is equal to E3 or grade is equal to E4. So here condition is employees of grade E3 and E4 or E4, not and or E4, it should be written. So where grade is E3 or grade E4. So if it is changed as R means here R will come. If it is and means here we should give and. Okay, so like this we need to give the condition. So based on this condition, this value is going to be updated. This gross value is going to be updated by double value. The double of gross will be calculated and it should be written in the table employee. Next is deleting data from the tables. To delete some data from the tables, we can use SQL delete commands with the where class conditions. Based on conditions, we can give for deleting some particular values or some data from tables. This removes the entire rows. That is, delete command removes a row from a table. This removes the entire rows, not individual field values. So no field argument is needed or accepted here. So entire row only is going to be deleted. So delete from table name, this is the syntax. Delete from which table and condition we need to give. Where predicate means condition. So delete from employee where gross is less than 2200. That means who and all getting, which employee and all getting gross salary less than 2200, their data and all going to be removed. The entire row is going to be deleted here. Okay, so if you specify no condition with where class, then all the rows of the table will be deleted. Delete from items alone, if you give entire table, that is all the rows from the table is going to be, from the items table is going to be deleted if you are not mentioning this condition. Understood? Next is altering tables. The alter table command is used to change the definitions of existing tables. So alter table is used to change the, this is working on definition part, that is DDL part. Okay, so change the definitions of existing table, that is table structure, whatever we have created using create table command, we can modify it here. Data type we can change, the size also we can change. So we will see what are the syntax we need to study here in order to do all those things. So usually it is used to add columns to a table. New column we can add it here. To in MySQL, alter table command is used to add a column and to add a integrity constraint. So constraints also we can add here. If we missed some constraints while creating a table, using alter table command we can include some constraints, integrity constraints and that. To redefine a column, that is we can change the data type or we can change the size of the data type, and then default value, if we forgot to give, we can assign the default value also. So these are the things we can do with the help of this altering table. So first one we will see how to add a column. Alter table, table name, add column name, data type, size and constraint name we need to give. So example, alter table employee 1 add. So which field we want to add, that should be given within the parenthesis with the data type. So at the end semicolon. So this way we can add a new column into the existing table. Next is modify a column. So we want to change that is varchar to character or character to varchar, means we can change like this. For that we need to use modify instead of add. So instead of add we need to use modify keyword. So that keyword after only we need to give this for column name and then data type and then size of the data type. Okay. Next is to redefine a column, that is data type, everything we need to change. It is already there, but we need to change the data type of the particular column, means we need to go for this command change. Okay, so alter table customers change So already given name, we need to change it as first name. So it is written already like first underscore name, that we are changing here as first name, and then varchar of 20. So like that we can change the change from old column name to new column name, that is redefining a column. Okay. Next is dropping tables. So drop table is also related with DDL command only. It is used to delete the entire table. So what we have created using create table command. So create, alter, drop fully works with the structure or scheme of the table. It is not dealing with the data of the table. So data of the table is going to be dealt with DML commands, that is data manipulation commands, like insert, delete, update. All these three commands, no, insert, delete, update, these commands only are used for modification purpose. Okay, DML commands and all these three. And dropping commands are, that is drop command, alter command, and then create command is used for DDL. Okay, so drop table command is drop table if exist table name, that is drop table items also we can give, or drop table if exist players also we can give. So what is the difference between these two means? Drop table items, for example, if items table is not already there, so this will generate error. So here if you give like this, drop table if exist players, so if it exists means it will delete that table, otherwise it will not do anything. Okay, so the if exist class of drop table, this is the if exist class of drop table, first checks whether the given table is existing in the database or not. If it does, then it drops the table from the database. So with this we will end up the today's session. Only few portions, few topics only missing in the MySQL revision 2. That is a new topic. What we are going to see in the next class will be a new topic for you related to MySQL. So till now whatever we discussed, go through once again and understand. Ask me any doubt if you have. Thank you.